Hello YouTube, hello Facebook, hello Instagram, wherever you're watching me from. Thank you for clicking on this video and thank you for watching my videos. So this is gonna be another casual, unplanned kind of video. And I wanted to share with you guys my story that I don't think I've ever told anyone before actually. It's about like the first time that I ever experienced my out-of-body experience. The first time that I kind of like started experiencing like all these paranormal things. I was like so young, so at that time it was very confusing, yet I knew what I was doing and what was happening. But I want to share this story with you guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so this story literally takes back like in 2000, I don't know, like early 2000. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. It was way before I came into the country. So basically how my house was back in the day, like the first floor, it was like my grandparents' home, and then on top of that was where I was living with my mom and my dad at the time. And they had just built me a room because it was like a new part. They were like the upstairs of the house previous to me being born and everything. That was where my dad lived with his brothers and everything. And then of course they grew up, they already went their own way. But my father decided to stay there. So they changed the layout of the top room and basically they built 2 rooms. It was my parents' room, it was mine, and then like a little living room area in the kitchen and all of that. So with my room being kind of built, I think it was my grandpa that was building it, who was building it. So he asked me like, oh, is there anything special that you want? And I asked for a mirror and my door. And at the time, for some reason, it was cool to have like a mirror that was like not straight. It was kind of like a worm, like it was just like that. So that's what I asked for. I was like, oh, like I want my door, like I want a mirror in my door, and I want it to be, not straight but kind of slanted. So they got me that. They got me a cool mirror, and it was perfectly how I wanted it. Which is really weird to think how they even got that, just because like how do you even find that? But back in the day. So they got me that, and I started sleeping in that room, and everything was perfect. Like I had a pretty cool bedroom for that age, everything was brand new, the bed was brand new. It was a big space at the time, so I was having like the time of my life. So for some odd reason, I started having the out-of-body experiences, and it's very different to like sleep paralysis. It's a whole different experience, and then out-of-body experience is a whole different thing. So out-of-body experience is basically whenever your soul comes out of your physical body, like your spiritual body comes out of your physical body. I was laying in bed and I fell asleep, and then next thing I know, I remember I thought I was awake, because I remember, obviously I could see. You literally can see with your, like if you had eyes, but you can see more than what the human eyes can see. I remember the first thing that I noticed is that I was like, oh, I'm in my room and it's dark. Like, it was overnight, so like I could see everything was dark. But whenever I tried to walk, I couldn't walk. I could move, but I couldn't walk like a human would. Like the way that I was moving, like I wanted to go towards like a part of my room. I was still confused. I thought I was like awake at that time. Like it feels so weird. It feels like gravity's pulling you back. So you're kind of just like trying to move, but you can't. So next thing I know, I turn around, like, and I'm like, that's me. Like I saw myself in the bed. I could see my body resting, like I was just kind of like asleep. And I saw myself and I realized like, wait, what? So then I looked down, and I kind of don't have like a physical body. It was just like energy. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like literally looked like how ghost pictures look, like the kind of like, it's not like a physical mass, it's kind of like a shadowish. That's how I looked at myself. I looked down and I just looked like shadow. So then I looked to the other side, to that mirror, to my door. I looked at my door and the mirror looked funny. It literally looked attracting. It's like it was calling me. The mirror looked like a portal, because I remember looking at it and obviously I couldn't see my reflection. What I saw was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like color, it was every color, and it was just kind of like I don't know if that kind of like gives you a visual, but it was like little things like that, and it caught my attention. Like I wanted to go for it, but something kind of stopped me, and like I said, I was like 8 or 7 at this time, so there's no way I knew what was right and what's wrong whenever it comes to the spiritual world. But for some reason, I was like, no, doesn't sound right. Like I felt like I was gonna get stuck in the mirror. So I stayed away from it, but I do remember that seeing it and being like, oh my god, that doesn't look like a normal mirror. It literally looks like a portal. So I always keep that in mind. It's like really weird because now that now that I know more, it's like, oh shit, like yeah, that's a freaking portal that I'm looking at. But at the time, somehow I knew it was not right. So that was very interesting. Another thing is that I could see other spirits. I could see other not material, but like other energy things, not floating, but they were like walking around. And I remember I turned around again, and that's where I see like a group. It was literally like full, like complete, like a room full of like spirits. And they were all, I don't know if they were talking to each other or they were just like saying stuff, but like obviously I couldn't understand them because they were talking, on top of other, like they were just like saying stuff. And again, I don't know if it was a language. Like obviously you're out of your body, so there's no language, right? So I don't know, but I remember I could hear something. There was like it was just a lot of people just talking, and again, there was no faces. There was just like blobs of energy all around, but for some reason I knew each blob was like an individual. So that was very interesting. So I really don't remember much. I remember going back and I looked at my body, and then I got close to it, and like next thing I know, I woke up like from like an actual like like my physical body. I actually woke up. So the other weird thing is that whenever I woke up, I remember feeling my body like completely, all of my body was like ants, like un hormigueo, like literally like sentí un hormigueo, like literally like it was just like little, like whenever you fall asleep like on your like hand or something, that's how I felt with the whole body. Like I could just feel it. It is very interesting because like it made me like, now that I'm older, I'm like, holy crap, like maybe I was dying, and like like for being out of my body for so long, and like I was not even aware of it, where my whole body was just like hey, where is life? So one interesting fact about this story is that at that time my grandma was still alive, and I remember like I said, I never mentioned that to anyone because I was literally 8. Like, who's not gonna believe me, and for what? My parents are just like, at that time I would not really tell them anything about this. So I do remember, however, hearing that my grandma would always say like, oh, where we live, like exactly in that reparto, colonia, whatever you want to call it, like in that neighborhood, that's where like a lot of like revolutionary stuff happened. So there was like a lot of dead people. So we're literally like, the neighborhood was built on top of all the disaster and all the massacre. Like everything that had to do with like stuff like that, it was there. So it was like a hot spot for like energy. And like after that, I'm just like, holy crap, that's probably why I saw so many things. And it connected back to like other instances that I had growing up, because in that house I used to always hear stuff, I used to see stuff. My dad, growing up, he would always tell me like, oh, like I saw this, I saw that, I heard this, I heard that. But we just kind of ignored it. We never connected the dots and was like, oh, we're literally living like in a graveyard, like literally. So it's just so interesting. Like now growing up, now understanding a little bit better, it's so scary to think that I was literally a kid that detached from the physical body. And if there was like a negative entity around, a demon or anything like that, it could have attacked my body, attacked my soul. If I would have gotten too far, if I would have went too far out of my area, it would have been bad. Or if I just would have never came back to my body, if I would have never found the way back. Scary thinking about that. It's very scary thinking about that. So that was really the first one that I remember. There was a couple of more, but it was nothing crazy. Like I do remember another one after that, in the same house, same apartment, everything. Not apartment, same like floor. Going to my parents' room, not physically, but spiritually. Like I walked from my room and I made a turn. My parents were sleeping, and there was another time where I was a little bit more daring, and I went all the way to like the staircase to the outside. but I didn't go beyond that. And it's funny, I could see the outside, I could see everything, but the way that everything sounds whenever you're out of your body is very different to what you would hear with the physical ear, like completely different. It's like you're in a whole different frequency. Like, it's really weird. And like I said again, like the way that you move is not the same. It's like very, very like slow, like everything's slow motion, or at least that's how it felt then. And then after that, it kind of stopped. It went away like once. I don't know if it was like me being scared that kind of threw that gift away, or I really don't know what happened, but I did stop having that. Once I became a teenager, maybe like anywhere between 14 to about 17, there was times that I felt the beginning of that experience. Like, you feel like the detachment of your soul from your body, like you feel it. But I guess since I had already experienced that before and I kind of grew up to be scared of it, I would always just come back. Like, I would just like return. I haven't like gone out completely like I did when I was a kid. Again, because I didn't know what was happening, I didn't know what I was doing. But now that I know more, or that I knew more, whenever I was like 17, 16, it would just come to the point where like I would get really relaxed and my soul was like ready to like detach. And then you realize like, oh no, it's happening, like let me come back. So yeah, that's one of the weirdest things. I think it's a very scary experience if you don't know what you're doing or what's happening, or if you don't want to do it and it happens to you. But I think it could be very not beneficial, but like if you control it and you know what you're doing, like you can learn a lot and you can see more than you would be able to see physically. I also think this is a mediumship gift, and I think that's why I kind of have developed mediumship in a way, because the fact that my soul was out and I could see spirits and I could see the energies and I could see the mirror and what it represented, all of that, I feel like that has to do with it affected me to where I'm at now when it comes to mediumship. And another topic, and I'm gonna talk about mirrors in a whole different video, but that's another thing, like the whole mirror thing. Like, you always hear like, oh, mirrors are portals, like there's spirits in mirrors, like all of this stuff, like reflections and all of this. And that situation or that experience, like it kind of gave me like the answer to that. Like, yes, it's very true indeed, because I remember seeing it and the way that it looked, it was captivating. Like I wanted to go in there, but I didn't, So yeah, that's basically the story that I have for you guys. I want to hear you guys, like, have you guys ever experienced any out-of-body experience, or maybe like even like seeing spirits, something in the mirror, anything like that? I would love to hear it, guys. Go ahead and comment down below. And if you want to keep hearing the stories about my experiences, let me know and I will keep sharing, because there's a couple of other things that I've gone through, whole different situations, but it does have to do with the paranormal and the spiritual stuff. So let me know. And if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Go ahead and get subscribed to my channel, and make sure you share this with your friends and family who are interested in the paranormal. And that will be it. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.